Will $25 a week really replace your job? Let's run the real math. Somebody, somewhere, just promised you that $25 a week will replace your paycheck. $25. The price of a couple of coffees and a sandwich, quietly dropped into a Fidelity index fund every Friday. And one day, poof, $8,000 a month, no job required. It's a beautiful story. It's also the kind of story that racks up millions of views. And here's the problem. The math behind that headline is doing some very heavy lifting that nobody ever shows you on screen. So let's actually run it. Not to crush the dream, because part of that dream is real, and I'll show you exactly where it's hiding. We're running it to show you what $25 a week genuinely does, who it actually works for, and what it would really take to walk away from your job for good. By the end, you'll know exactly which part of that headline is true and which part is a magic trick. Let's start with the definition, because replace your job sounds inspiring and means almost nothing until you pin it down. What people actually mean is this: enough income coming off your investments that you never have to earn another paycheck. The standard rule of thumb for that comes from a well-known piece of research, often called the Trinity study, and it's known as the 4% rule. The idea is simple. Once you've retired, you can withdraw roughly 4% of your portfolio in the first year, adjust that amount for inflation each year after, and have a very strong chance of never running out of money over a 30-year retirement. So let's work the headline backwards. $8,000 a month is $96,000 a year. To safely pull $96,000 a year at 4%, you need a portfolio of $2.4 million. That's the real target, not vague financial freedom, not vibes. $2.4 million sitting in the account before the job actually gets replaced. Hold on to that number, because everything else hangs off it. Now let's see what $25 a week really grows into. $25 a week is about $108 a month, or roughly $1,300 a year. And we'll be generous and assume it's invested in a broad index fund earning the historical long-run average of the US stock market, somewhere around 10% a year before inflation. That's the average the S&P 500 has delivered over many decades. Here's how the breakdown looks. After 10 years of faithfully investing your $25 a week, you'd have somewhere around $21,000. After 20 years, about $74,000. After 30 years, roughly $214,000. After 40 years, around $575,000. And after a full 50 years, half a century of never missing a single week, about $1.5 million. Now pause on that, because $1.5 million from pocket change is genuinely remarkable. That is compounding, doing exactly what it promises. But let's translate it into the only thing that matters here. Monthly income. Run that 4% rule on each one. That $214,000 at year 30 throws off about $700 a month. The $575,000 at year 40 gives you around $1,900 a month. And even the $1.5 million at year 50 produces about $5,000 a month. $5,000, not $8,000. And that's after 50 years of perfect discipline, before we've even mentioned the word inflation. So here's the reality check. $25 a week, all by itself, does not replace an $8,000 a month income. It's not even that close, and the gap is the whole story. Before we get into why and into the part where this actually starts working, do me a quick favor and hit the like button and subscribe, because this is exactly the kind of math the thumbnails never show you, and I'd like to keep showing it to you. So why the gap? 2 reasons, and they're both the kind of thing that gets quietly left out of a 15-second hook. The first is time. to grow $25 a week into the $2.4 million you'd need for that $8,000 monthly target, you're looking at somewhere around 55 years of investing at that 10% average. 55 years. If you start at 25, you're replacing your job at 80. That's not early retirement, that's the regular kind, arriving fashionably late. The second reason is the one almost nobody mentions. Inflation. That $80,000 a month in 50 years will not buy what $8,000 buys today. At a normal rate of inflation, 50 years from now, $8,000 might feel more like $1,800 in today's money. So the dream number isn't just far away. When it finally arrives, it's wearing a disguise, and it's smaller underneath than it looked. Now, to be fair, and this channel is always fair, let me give the other side its due, because the headline isn't a pure lie. It's a true thing wearing a costume 2 sizes too flashy. Compounding really is that powerful. An index fund really is one of the simplest, lowest cost, most reliable wealth building tools ever made available to ordinary people. And Fidelity really will let you start with almost nothing. All of that is true. The trick isn't in the tool. The trick is in the dollar amount. Because here's the thing the headline buries. The size of the seed matters at least as much as the soil. Watch what happens when you change just that one number. Take that same index fund, the same boring 10% average, but instead of $25 a week, you invest about $1,000 a month. Now you hit that $2.4 million target, not in 55 years, but in a little over 30. Same fund, same discipline, same math. The only thing that changed was how much you fed it. So the honest version of the headline isn't $25 a week will replace your job. It's the habit of investing every single week will replace your job once you grow what you put in. And that's the reframe that actually sets you free. So let me say it plainly. The point of starting at $25 a week was never that $25 was going to carry you to the finish line. The point is that $25 builds the muscle. It opens the account. It gets the automatic transfer running, so investing becomes something you do without thinking, like brushing your teeth. And then, as your income grows, the raise, the better job, the side income, the year the car finally gets paid off, you quietly raise the number. 30 a week, 50, 100. The habit was the hard part, and you already cleared it back when it was just the price of a sandwich. That's the real machine, not the $25. The $25 that grows. So no, $25 a week won't hand you $8,000 a month by itself. But it gets you in the game years before the people still waiting to start investing properly. And it proves, with your own money instead of someone else's slide, that compounding is actually real. The headline isn't a scam. It's a magic trick. And now you can see how it's done. Open the account, start the transfer, and let it be $25 if $25 is what you've got. But here's what nobody tells you about that $2.4 million number. There's one quiet mistake that wipes out a huge chunk of it before you ever get to spend $1, and almost everyone makes it without realizing. I broke down exactly what it is and how to avoid it in this video right here. Go watch that one next.